This conference will now be recorded.
So the codes what we are going to learn here is full stack Java. Let me just brief for 2 minutes the contents what we are going to discuss in this full stack Java. So we initially go with core Java, then we go with web technologies or even UI design, user interface design, where we'll be learning the topics like HTML, CSS, JavaScript, TypeScript, XML, JSON, Angular. Then we'll be moving to the next one, advanced Java. Even we say Java EE, Enterprise Edition. It's mainly used to develop web applications. And the contents what we learn here is servlets and JSP, Java Server Pages. Then the next and very, very important one, frameworks. Here we'll be learning two important frameworks like Hibernate framework. Then we go with the Spring framework. So before we go with Spring, we'll be learning about web services. This is not a framework. And we go with microservices. And in Spring framework, we'll be learning the modules like Spring Core or Bean module. Then we go with the Spring DAO module, where we go with the Spring JDBC, Spring ORM, Spring Data. Then we go with the Spring MVC module, mainly used to develop web applications, and Spring REST module. When in between, we'll be discussing some of the real-time tools, and we go with a project at the end. And the duration of our course goes maximum 60 hours. And the time of our class will be Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. IST. Monday to Friday at 7 p.m. IST. And the class will go for maximum 1 hour. The class will go for maximum 1 hour. And the class is getting recorded. That recording will be shared to you after the class. And whatever the GoToMeeting link you are having with you, that link you can use to join for this week and even for next week. I've mentioned the dates from which date you can join the link. And once the link is completed, I'll be taking care of sending the new link to you. I'll take care of that. Right? And the communication will happen only through mails. And attendance is mandated. Compulsory, you should attend all the classes. And due to some reasons, we always miss the class. So just you need to inform me before you're taking the leave. Just put a message to me like you are unable to attend the class so that you are with us. And continuously, if you take 3 days break to attend the classes without informing, we are going to stop sending the recordings to you. Right? And what are the recordings we are sending? Please download onto your local machine. Please download the recordings onto your local machine. Okay. So in regular intervals of time, I'll be deleting the recordings from the Google Drive. So request to download onto your local machine. If you miss out, don't worry. Just keep a mail to me once again. I'll be sending the recording to you. Okay. So before we proceed further, anyone having any queries, any questions? Right. So whatever the class I've done yesterday, the demo part, that recording also I'll be sharing to you. Okay, after the class today. Now, so let us start off with today's class. Before we enter into this Java or any other programming language, we should have some fundamental concepts of programming. So let us go with some programming concepts. Right. So let us start off with the term keyword. Before that, let us go with the term program. As we are going to write the programs, first of all, we should know what is the program. So the definition of program is like a program is a set of statements used to do a specific task. What makes a program? It is a set of statements used to do a specific task. The meaning of task is like finding area of a rectangle, finding total marks and average marks of a student, then calculating net salary of an employee, adding a book to the library, depositing an amount into the bank, booking a railway ticket or flight ticket, like this. This is the meaning of task. To do the task, we write some program. The next definition here is comment. Comments. So the meaning of comment is like whenever we are writing the program what you are writing, we should document that. Why we should document is when some other people sees your program, they should able to understand what you are doing in the program, or even you yourself see your program after a long time, you should able to understand what you are doing in that. It's mainly for documentation purpose, like on which date you are writing the program, who is writing the program, what is the purpose of the program. These all things we can mention over there. Like comments are used to document a program and ignored by the programming language. Ignored by the programming language. And we are in two types of comments. They are single line comment, where the symbol is // multi-line comment, where the symbol is /* and we end with again //. Like example, you can say // to find area of a rectangle. Multi-line comment, example /* to find gross salary and net salary of an employee, like this. So here we go with multi-line comment. /* and end with / is multi-line comment. So whatever I'm discussing here, the rules whatever we are discussing, this will be common for C, C++, Java and .NET. These four languages follows the maximum same rules. Okay. The next one, keyword. The meaning of keyword is like, so when you take a programming language like C, C++, Java, .NET, Python, whatever it may be, there will be some words where the programming language can understand those words automatically. Such type of words we call them as keywords. Such type of words we call them as keyword here. So you can define a keyword like a keyword is a reserved word or predefined word. A keyword is a reserved word or predefined word whose meaning is known to the language. When I say language, it's programming language directly. So these words are automatically understood by the language here. And some of the examples, like many programming language supports like int, float, if, while, do, for, like this. Okay. The next term is very, very important. This is the main part of programming, like variable. The meaning of variable is like whenever we take a programming language in our application, we may require to use some data. Like I want to store some value related to roll number. I may go with names. I may go with salary. I may go with the price of an item, like that. So for example, I want to store some age value. So when you want to store some age value, we require some memory space to store age value. So we go with some name to the memory space. If I want to store some name, we go with some name to the memory space, like name, height, like this. So the names what you are giving to the memory spaces, these names we call them as variables. So variables are mainly to store some values. How to define a variable is like a variable is an identifier which allocates some memory space. Which allocates some memory space. And the examples of variables like roll number, student name, marks, net salary, like this. The next one is data type. This is also important as a beginner. So all the words, whatever the words I'm discussing, everything will be discussed once again in more detail when we come to basics of Java. Okay, all the things will get recapped again. So before we enter into Java, we should know these terminologies compulsory. That's the reason I'm discussing this initially. The meaning of data type is like, the meaning of data type is whenever you are allocating some memory space for variable like age. In age, what type of data we store? Something like 20, a numeric value without any decimal point. A numeric value without any decimal point, we call it as integer data type. We call it as what? Integer data type. Now, if I allocate some memory space for a variable like name, in name, we store a value something like Raj. Collection of characters. When you go with collection of characters, we call it as string. If you take a variable like height, we store something like 5.9. So when you are having a numeric value with a decimal point, then we call it as float. We call it as what here? Float. So the type of data, what a variable holds. The type of data, what a variable holds, that only we call data type. So you can define a data type like type of data the variable holds is called as data type. Type of data the variable holds is called as data type. And the examples of data type are like integer, float, char, string, like this. Okay. So when you say integer, the examples of integer are like a numeric value without any decimal point, including 0, positives and negatives. The examples of float are like any value with a decimal point. Any value with decimal point. That the examples of character are like any value in single quotes. A value in single quotes. Only one symbol should be there. And the example of string are like any value within double quotes. Collection of characters in double quotes. Right? These are the basic data types what I have mentioned here. So anyone having any questions up to here?
No, no.
Right. Now the next one is function or method. Function or method. This is the very important term. The meaning of function or method is like a function is a subprogram which is used to do a specific task. It's a part of the program. Like example, when we want to find the area of a rectangle, what we want to find? Area of a rectangle. So in order to find area of a rectangle, I'm going with a function name area rect. I'm going with a method name area rect, and we end with the parenthesis. So when you see some name like xyz, and when you end with the parenthesis, this we call it as a function. This we call it as what? Function. Then we go with open and close curly braces like this. Means the use of open curly braces, the function begins at this place and closes at this place. Now, in order to find the area of a rectangle, what data do we require?
Length and breadth.
Length and width.
Length and breadth. Very good. We require length and breadth. So the data what you require, we have to pass in between these parentheses like this. Int length, comma int breadth. This we call them as length and breadth. Length and breadth are arguments. We call them as arguments or parameters. We call them as arguments or parameters. So what is the need of these arguments is the data what we require to perform the task, the input what we require to perform the task, that we need to pass like arguments to the method here. Okay. And what's the formula to find area? Length into breadth. What's the formula to find area? Length into breadth. So whenever we take a variable, before variable we have to mention the data type what you want to store. So area equal to what is the formula? Length into breadth. Then now, since we are using a variable area in our program, we have to allocate memory for area. To allocate memory, we have to mention the data type and the variable name. Now, this we call defining the method. So when you are writing the code inside the method, we call it as defining the method. Now, in order to get the result from your method, we have to call it. Calling the method. How to call the method is like this: area rect, and I'm passing the values 10, 5. So when you end with the semicolon after calling the method, this we call calling the method. When you see open and close curly brace, defining the method. That's a way to remember. Now when you call the method like area rect 10, 5, this 10 will go and store into length variable, 5 will go and store into breadth variable. Then what will be the value of area?
50.
50, right? The value of area is 50. This 50, this result, I want to give it back to this method. This 50, whatever you are getting, I want to give it back to the method. How to give it is by using a keyword return. By using what keyword? Return. So when you say return area, 50 will come and store over here. Now let me take one more variable like area equal to, and if you print the value of area, if you print area, what value it's going to print for us? 50 here. It's going to print 50. What is the use of return keyword? The use of return keyword is after doing the calculations, if I want to give the result outside of your method, if I want to give a value of your method outside, we use what keyword here? Return. Then whatever the value you are returning over here, what is the data type of that variable? Integer. So before the method name, we have to mention the type of data what you are returning. So this data type what you are mentioning before method name, the data what you are returning, this we call it as return type. So what is the return type of area rect method means? What you should answer, you should say integer. The return type of your method is what? Integer. Now if you take the same method, instead of returning, you are printing over here only. You are printing the value of area here. Means you are not giving any value outside of your method. You are not giving any value outside of your method. Then we have to use a keyword void. We have to use what keyword? Void. Void means no return type. Means you are not giving any value outside of your method. If you are not returning any value before the method name, we have to use what keyword? Void. So these rules are common for C, C++, Java and .NET. Got it everyone? So the things will get recapped so many times. So when I start with the Java introduction, so when I make use of these terminologies, you should not feel confused. That's the reason I've discussed it as a small overview. But when we come to basics part, I'm going to discuss all these words properly, and we go with a lot of example programs on this, right? Anyone having any questions up to here?
No.
No. Now, this is the fundamental concepts required to enter into any programming language. Now, let us begin with Java introduction. Now, so before we enter into this Java introduction, let me ask one small question. Like, whenever we are developing software applications, we are having two approaches to develop software applications. One is structured approach, structured programming, and one more is object-oriented approach, object-oriented programming. Can you take some example programming languages which follows structured approach? Any idea on this?
C language.
Right, very good. C language, Pascal, COBOL, all older languages. Then examples of object-oriented programming languages?
Java.
Very good. Java,
Python.
.NET, PHP, C++, Python, all these are object-oriented. So Java comes under object-oriented. So you can say Java is an object-oriented programming language. Java is what? It's object-oriented programming language developed by James Gosling. Developed by James Gosling at Sun Microsystems. Where? At Sun Microsystems. Then this Sun Microsystems is acquired by which company now?
Oracle.
Very good. It acquired by Oracle Corporation. So Sun Microsystems is acquired by Oracle Corporation, and it was done in 2010. So now onwards, we should say Java is a product of Oracle. Now, since Java is object-oriented programming, before we enter into Java, we should have a basic idea on object-oriented concepts. So we are in totally 6 important object-oriented concepts or features. They are objects, classes, abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. So these are the 6 important object-oriented concepts or features. Now, before we enter into Java, we should have a basic idea of these two terms, object and class. That's enough. We should, if you are having basic idea on what is object, what is class, then entering into Java will be easy for us. However, I'm going to discuss all these concepts using Java programming, and this will take totally 5 to 6 days for us. So today objective is we'll discuss what is object and what is class, so that from next class we can enter into Java very easily. Now let us start off with the first term, object. The meaning of object is like any real-time entity. Any real-time entity is an object. Like example, if you consider a laptop, what features do you see in laptop? What do you check before you purchase?
The model, RAM, hard disk.
Right. The model, the make, the color, the price, hard disk capacity, right? Then processor speed. Okay, these things we check. If you are having at least one property, one feature, we call it as object. How to define an object is like an object is a real-time entity which has identity, state, and behavior. Which has identity, state, and behavior. Now, let me elaborate these 3 terms, identity, state, and behavior, using a diagram. So when I mention refer diagram object.png, I'll be sharing this diagram along with the documents. Let me open Paint. Now, let us consider an object like a item car, some car. So how to identify a car uniquely? By using the registration number. Now, for a car, we go with the state. The meaning of state is like the properties, the features, what we see in the car. So what we can see in a car, what features do you see? Like make, the model, the color, price, capacity like sitting capacity, engine capacity, fuel capacity, fuel type, like this. Okay, petrol or diesel, like this. So these features, whatever we see in a car, we call it as what? The state. The features of an object only we call state. So the terminologies are important today. So this state, even we call it as this state, even we call it as data members or variables or properties or fields or attributes. So different people use different terminologies. I'm giving all the terminologies here. For an object, we go with behavior. The meaning of behavior is like the actions what we perform on car, the operations what we can do with car. So what we can do with car, we can drive. So when I say operation, we call it as method or function. So how to identify functions? We end with the parenthesis. The actions only we call functions. We can apply brake. We can change gear. We can reverse. We can stop, like this. These are the functionalities. The functionalities only we call behavior. So this behavior, we can even call it as methods or functions or operations. This we call it as what? Methods or functions or operations. All the meanings are same, right? So what is an object? An object is a real-time entity which has ID, identity, state, and behavior. The next term is class. How to define a class is like a class is a collection of data members and methods. So the state of your object will act as data members inside your class. The behavior will act as methods inside your class. Like example, how to create a class in Java is by using a keyword class. By using what keyword? Class. By using a keyword class and the name of the class. Like example, person. We use a keyword class and the name of the class is person. Just a minute. Hello, Ajat. Hello, Ajat.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi, Ajat. Yeah, this side is Rashekar. Yeah, so I'll be taking care of this training. Azad, can you know who has shared the link to you?
Rani.
Rani. Okay. And one more thing, Azad, you have joined something around 40 minutes late. So we started the class 40 minutes before. Exactly means 38 minutes. Okay, Azad.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir.
take care of joining the class in time. And yeah, at the end again I'll discuss with you. I'll take your
Okay.
email ID. I'll ask you to send a mail. Okay, and I'll send the recording to you. Okay, Asad.
Okay.
So what makes a class? A class is a collection of data members and methods. Now here, how to create a class? By using a keyword class and the name of the class. And we go with open and close curly brace. What is the use of open and close curly brace? Where the class begins and where it ends. This we call scope. Always remember the curly braces, we call them as scope. There. Now here it goes with some data members. So for a person, what we go? We go with the age. We go with the name of the person. We go with the height of the person. So this age, we store a number value with the, without any decimal point. So we go with the data type integer. In name, we go with some collection of characters. We go with the data type string. In height, we go with a value with a decimal point. So we'll say float. A value with a decimal point is float. Then we go with the methods. We go with the methods like what a person can do. A person can eat or walk. We end with parenthesis. When you end with parenthesis, means it's a method. And again for method, we go with open and close curly brace. Then a person can eat like this. So how the class looks? A class is a collection of data members and methods. Methods means functions. Now, once we create the class, outside of the class, if you say age equal to 20 directly, this goes with an error. This will go with what? Error. Because when you say age equal to 20, whose age is 20 here? We did not mention whose age is 20. So accessing these members outside of the class, outside means after curly braces, accessing the members outside of class directly is not allowed. It goes with error. Then how to access these members outside? That is the important point required to enter into Java. So this is the major point what I require to enter into Java. That is the members of the class. So when you say members, it can be your data members or methods. The members of the class are accessed using objects with the dot operator. With what operator? Dot operator. Then how to create object here? Syntactically, how to create object? Creating objects. How to create objects programmatically is the syntax is, the meaning of syntax is rules of a language. Rules of a language. The syntax is we have to go with the class name, then object name equal to new, it's a keyword. Again, we have to say class name and end with parenthesis. Like example, what is the name of the class we have created above? Person. So we should say person p equal to the object name equal to new person. In this, p is an object of class person. Now by using this p object with the dot operator, now we can give value to age. By using this p with the dot operator, now we can give value to name. Since name is string, the value should go in double quotes. By using this, we can give the value to height. By using p object, we can call the method eat. By using object, we can even call the method walk. So the important point what I require to enter into Java is this one. So whenever you want to access the members of a class, what we need to create? Object. By using object with the dot operator, we can access the members of the class. So this is the point what I require to enter into Java. Right? Yeah. So anyone having any questions up to here? Right? So this is a simple basic introduction of Java, what we have done today. Okay. So In tomorrow's class, we'll be going with the Java features. Tomorrow we discuss Java features, and after that, the next class, we'll be learning how to download Java and how to install Java on our operating system, and we'll be developing Java applications. Okay, so the practical part will start next, not tomorrow's class, the next class. Okay, all right.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes, Arshavardhan.
Yeah, so I just have a doubt in this object thing, sir. Like I watched few videos, but no one gave a clarity. So I just got to know that P is the object, right, sir?
P is the object here. P is the object.
They were saying that it's a reference and all, but they never said it's not.
I'm unable to hear you properly, Arsha.
Everyone was saying that P is a reference, but they didn't say it's an object, sir.
Yeah, that's the correct one.
So it's an object. Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So object and reference we use like a synonym, but the real way to say is P is a reference and this is your object. That's the correct way of discussing. So I don't want to confuse. So just I'm saying P is the object here. Got it?
So the whole thing, new person is an object.
This is our object where P is referring to this object.
Okay, sir. Which is referring to P, so that makes P an object.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sir.
So the terminology is P is reference, new person is object here. That's the actual terminology. Okay, Arshavardhan.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Right.